Hey YouTube, it's Liberty4343 here with another knife video. It's been a little while. Today the focus of the knife video is going to be on kind of my collection from the past to the present. I'm just going to start off real quickly here because I've got a lot of stuff to show. Years ago, the knife that I thought was just the absolute most awesome carry knife of all time was this thing. This is the 1410 ST by Kershaw. I remember getting this in the late 90s and just thinking, man, that is the most awesome knife ever. Of course, today when I look at it compared to other knives, Sebenzas and a million other types, completely not centered. A little bit of rock there, not too much. But I carried this knife forever. I even gave it a name, Rudy. That was the knife's name. The company itself, Kershaw, fantastic. When I sent it back and I needed the clip replaced, if it was bent or tweaked, anything like that, they sharpened it up, cleaned up the knife. And about 6 months ago, I thought I lost this. And what I thought I was going to do was replace it. And I ended up finding ones online, you know, used, and ones that were in the box of the same style of knife. But after doing some research and thinking about it, I thought, you know, what is the best knife out there? I started investigating what I call, you know, higher-end mid-tech knives. And, of course, I came up with the large Sebenza. Notice it's partially serrated, of course. I'm not going into blade steel or any of that kind of stuff. I'm too new into the knife collecting world to really know all the different types, and I don't sharpen my own knives yet, so I'm not really sure about, you know, best edge holding and all those kind of things. I do know the terms D2 and 440 and CTS, HXP, etc., but in terms of what my favorite is, I really don't know yet. But I do know what I like in terms of knives. And after a while, I put a call out for a smaller Sebenza, something that could be more practical for EDC use. As a school teacher, carrying this around, it's a little bit more difficult than carrying this. This is a little bit friendlier, I should say. In the past, you know, with my other knives that I've had, you know, I had things like Bokers. Nothing special here, 440. Kind of an interesting grind, though. I forgot what that's called when it's, you know, it's got the Tonto partially serrated. I think it's at the zero grind. Somebody please correct me, of course. Like I said, I'm not all too sure on a lot of these. I remember getting this in the early 90s, maybe 94 or something like that, Cold Steel Voyager, and just thinking, man, that's badass with that crazy grind and serrations. This knife I remember getting from a friend of mine who traveled to Germany every other year. He picked this up for me, gosh, probably when I was like in 7th grade or something. Back so long ago in the early 80s that you could travel with knives on an airplane, they didn't even care. Kershaw kind of slip joint from Japan. And I remember getting this butterfly knife when I was a kid in Carmel by Monterey, California, and at a knife store there. Lots of play here. But just thinking, wow, I got a butterfly knife. That's so awesome. It was so long ago, Goonies was brand new in the theater. That gives you an indication of the date. Well, as time went on, of course, after I got my Sebenzas, I started looking at other knives. Of course, I did find the knife that I thought I had lost, which was the 1410 ST. That's what kind of prompted me on it. I thought I lost that knife. I ended up finding it, but it opened my eyes up to a whole nother world. One knife I forgot, of course, the ever-popular classic Swiss Army knife. So I started looking at other knives. And not that they're in any order, but one knife that's really awesome recently, sorry about the fingerprints, is this guy by the name Calvin Robinson from Pace, Florida. Super cool guy. I saw his knife pop up at Blade Forums. Micarta, beautiful, D2 steel. I actually thought about selling it because it didn't have a clip, but I just love the knife so much, and it's so smooth. Calvin is such a cool guy. I either ask him if he can make me a sheath or if I can find one. So if anybody knows of good leather sheaths, Corduro, which one's the best, please let me know. I love that knife. I do not want to get rid of it at all. I also love this. This is my Allen Davis Alabama Damascus. And that was actually one of my first knife videos that I did. It's on that knife. And since then, I've gotten into other knives. Ray Laconico, or Laconico, is one of my favorite makers, amongst many others, of course. And one of the knives that I have of his is the Blast Flipper with the 4-inch blade. Tremendous knife. Absolutely tremendous knife. This one, I forgot what the name is. I ended up getting it from a guy on YouTube, and his first name is Pat. I always screw up his name on YouTube, but I'll have to look it up again. I'll probably put it in the comment section. It's Pialong or Pialang. Great videos. He does them on knives, knows his stuff, and he just did one on the iPhone 5, which is really cool as well. Pick this up from him. Smooth as all get up. Beautiful knife. Other ones include, of course, the ever-popular Les George VECP. This is the VECP1. Cool thing about this, which I'll have to talk about some other time too, is I asked Les George when I picked up the knife. A guy in Blade Forum said, "Hey, it's one of the first 6 he ever made." And I asked him how he knew that. He said he had heard it from the guy who he bought it from. So I'm, at least the third person. I had some issue with part of the knife with some rock, and I sent it back to Les. But I also asked him, is this one of the first 6? And he said yes. Like a dummy, I didn't bother to ask him how he knew. I met him at the Plaza show earlier this year in October, about a month ago, and he said the way he knew is because here, where the lock bar stabilizer is, he uses one of the thumb, I guess you would call it like thumb studs, I guess, that you would find like on an Emerson. That's what he used here, rather than the official kind that he uses now. So very cool. So one of the very first 6 VECPs, kind of a cool piece there. Some other ones that I really, really enjoy. I enjoy all of them. They're like my children. This is really cool. Ron Flattery with the A2 steel. The only thing that would make this better is if it were tip-up carry. It's tip down. It does take some getting used to, but smooth as hell. Ron is a really nice guy. Well, later on I'll have to do a review on that knife in general. Most of you know this maker. Alan Oleshowitz. Smooth as hell. Once again, just put out a call. Hey, I'm looking for a knife. On the forums, USN Blade Forum. Ask ye shall receive type deal. Boom, guy calls me or emails me. Next few days, the knife's in my hand. Awesome. And of course, I've got other knives here like SNG Strider, which I picked up from the Plaza show as well. Love this knife. When I first saw Striders, I was like, what's up with that handle? I didn't know what was going on. But man, when you put it in your hand here and you can choke up on it, and it is just a cool knife. I already cut myself with it, flipping it in the car, screwing around, of course, as always. That's what happened with that one, but I guess it's mine now once it draws blood, so it's kind of my rule. Picked this up a few weeks ago. Came with the tool, extra, oh gosh, I'm blanking out here. Extra covers. I hope I'm always screwing up here with this kind of terminology here. This is the XM18 Spanto Flipper. Man, talk about a cool knife from Hinderer. The Scale, that's the name of it. Came with some scales. Just a very cool knife. Very cool. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, of course, the Emerson CQC7. Not custom. Picked this up at the Plaza show. Built like a tank. Man, oh man, very cool knife. Very cool knife. And this is from a guy that works with Ray Lacanico sometimes. I want to say his Michael Vagnino, but I'm probably screwing up his name, just like Lacanico if it's Lacanico. But this is the zip slip. So you open it up like a folder, like a traditional folder, and then it kind of closes like that. I'll have to do a review on it. Very cool knife, though. Great EDC, especially if you want something smaller. And most recently, I just got this the other day. CQC12, the Beast. Whew, custom. Emerson. Very cool. So, I've got a lot of knives going on here. Please send comments. And later on I'll go through and obviously kind of go knife by knife, talk about all the different features and functions and everything else here. But that's my collection so far. Actually, I did forget one other thing. This little Benchmade here. That was kind of cool. It's one of my only fixed blades. Great company though. Needed some work and sent it back to them for $11. They sharpened it up and took care of all the little chips and dings and dents. Anyway, that's my knife collection. Please give me your comments. Thank you all for watching. Liberty 43 signing off.